are you seeing any trends locally that seem to be tied directly to COVID-19?
I know that there's been an increase in suicides, and I'm hearing that from the county and from other entities. We've seen an increase in suicides. At the beginning, we didn't see crisis with kids. Everybody was able to maintain a little bit. We can maintain for a couple, 3 weeks maybe, and then after that, coping skills wear down. And actually this last weekend, all the hospitals, children's hospital beds were full. We ended up having to take kids to Vegas, to their hospitals. Their hospitals got full. And I got a call that we needed to take someone to another state. And I was like, wow, whoa, we need to do something here. How do we get these kids, give the family a break, give them some social interaction, and maybe that would decrease the stress and the anxiety and the depression that's going on currently. Our hospital has been full. We have 16 beds. We're averaging about 14 being filled every day. And then we're having to send people out if they get full. And we want to treat our own community members here. We know we do the best care. Their support systems are here. They know what's around them. If we're sending them out, you're sending them to a foreign place almost, Their supports are 3 hours away, 4 hours away, whatever the case may be. So we are seeing an increase in crisis. Our shelter is getting lots of calls and increasing there.
And those are the shelter calls, would that be domestic violence?
Domestic violence, yeah. So the Safe House, we've had an increase of domestic violence residents coming through and providing them the supports in a shelter situation, which is really a weird situation in the COVID-19 world that we live in right now. We want to make sure we're providing safety for our staff, but we also have to look at safety for our clients. We know our clients are dealing with some real stressors, and not connecting is not going to help. So how do we do that as safe as we possibly can? We still provide services. So, trying to think if there's any other trends. Yeah, I think that's really the domestic violence, the suicides, and the crisis we really notice with children.
That's heartbreaking, and I feel like if you're in a family situation, and a good family situation, this is very difficult. So what is it like for those who don't, first of all, have a good family situation at all, or who don't have a family at all?
Right.
Which is very concerning.
Yes, and you threw that substance abuse, and a lot of people use alcohol and drugs to cope with their stress. And if there's a lot more stress, there's a lot more use of drugs and alcohol, which has other consequences within that family relationship. So even with a good family that has good coping skills, they're still stressed out. There's anxiety, there's depression. I think our community, our world is going through the stages of grief. We're dealing with, I don't think, we're starting to deal with some of the grief, but we've dealt with anger, we've seen the riots, we've dealt with this can't be happening kind of thing. I think we're even going into some of that bargaining part. Once we get into that depression, what is that really going to look like? And you're talking about families that don't have maybe the skill sets, or maybe they don't have some of the coping mechanisms, or they were dealing with stressors and traumas before this happened. And this has compounded that, and what's going on with the kids in those families, but what's going on with the adults too, and they're trying to do the best they can, yet they're struggling, trying to just maintain and be able to get through this, but no one knows when through this is. And so there's, if you gave someone a date, they'd be like, okay, I can probably do it till then. There's no date. We have no idea. And so that adds to that stressor and the symptoms of depression or anxiety or mental illness. And they don't know what to do with that. There's a lot of fear out there. We don't know what's going on. And if you don't have people around you that are support systems for you, what does that person do?
If you don't have someone to eat with, someone to laugh with, because
I don't know if you've ever watched Big Brother, the TV show. It's quite an experiment with human beings and their reactions. So it's 16 people that go into this house that don't know each other and they have no connection with the outside world at all for 3 months. And it's amazing to watch how they have to make that human connection. They have to touch, physical touch. Humans need that. And so even though it has nothing to do with relationships or sexuality or anything like that, it is true, you just need to touch another human being. I don't care if you're a stranger and I've only known you a week. You've all I've got here. So I need to have that touch. And so now you think of your friends and your family members that you haven't been able to see or touch or hug and things like that, how that is affecting you, how that's affecting kids, how's that affecting those that don't have family, are by themselves. They have no one. And if they don't have a pet, that's even more stressful. Dogs are great, cats are great, you have something to care for and talk to. We need to have that, and not having that just increases the stress. And what is that going to look like in the future? I think we're going to have a lot more need for therapy groups. I think we're going to need a lot more skill building on how to deal with stressors. But I think there's going to be a lot more acting out that we're going to have to deal with. The police are going to have to deal with. The courts are going to have to deal with. Physicians, medical people are going to have to deal with, because if they are not dealing with their mental health, it may turn in internally, and so now you have physical issues that are going on top of everything else.